pencil.
Here we go. All right, we are going to do Daniel chapter 8, part 1 today. We're going to do Daniel chapter 8, part 1. It's going to be another dream, vision, prophecy thing. It has a nice dividing part. But again, like we did with chapter 7, we will study the vision, and then afterwards we'll talk about the interpretation. We'll study the vision, and then we'll talk about the interpretation. But here's something interesting. At the end of the last class, I showed you how Daniel chapters 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 all form that little pattern, right? How they kind of repeat and show themes, and how there was the first dream about a statue that had 4 parts. And then Daniel had a dream about 4 different beasts, and how we could use one to understand and interpret the other, okay? This dream is not inside that pattern. It's not part of the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pattern. This dream is now, the rest of the book of Daniel is going to be written in Hebrew. And so it is written by Daniel for the Jewish people, and kind of like the Jewish people only. Remember, Nebuchadnezzar wrote chapter 4, it seems like. I, Nebuchadnezzar, it says. And so now this is a message for the Jewish people and kind of the Jewish people only, and it's about things that they needed to know. But when we start getting into, it'll really show up in the interpretation. We will see how this vision can help us understand some of the other ones also. All right? So let's get that screen shared so you can see what's going on. All right, so we ended with yesterday. There was a vision, or a dream rather, about this monster that wanted to take over the whole world, and it had a really angry horn, and that horn was yelling stuff and being kind of a Rudy Toot. And after 3.5 times, it was going to be destroyed and be judged and things like that. All right, so now we are going to do chapter 8. All right, you guys ready? In the 3rd year of the reign of King Belshazzar. Wait a minute. What king?
Belshazzar.
Belshazzar. So that means this is the same time as the other dream. A different year, but a little bit back in time, okay? So during this dream, during the time of Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me, Daniel, after that which appeared to me at the first. So this is his second one, after the first one. And I saw in the vision, now it was so then what I saw. Okay. I was in Shushan, the palace, which is in the province of Elam, and I saw in the vision, and I was by the river Ulai. Then I lifted up mine eyes and saw, and behold, here we go, now it's going to get exciting. There stood before the river a ram, which had 2 horns. And the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. I saw that the ram pushing westward, northward, and southward, and no beasts could stand before him. Neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand, but he did according to his will and magnified himself. Dun, dun, dun. All right, so we're going to draw that part, and we'll draw it on the backboard. So what did he see in his vision?
A ram.
And what's a ram? And don't say a truck. Not a Dodge Ram.
A ram.
It's like baby sheep.
It's a male sheep. All right, so let's see. He's got like there and his little nose, and he's got eyes that are doing like this. All right, and so then he has 2 horns, right? So I'm gonna do the spirally horns. I got ram, and then this one is higher than the other one. Okay.
And it's by a river, right?
Yeah, well, I'll draw a river in a second. That's a good, I forgot about that. All right, so there's this ram. I don't know what's wrong with his mouth. So there, and he's got a tail, and there's this river. I think Daniel is by the river more than the ram is, but there you get the idea. There's this river. Okay. And he's a pretty tough dude, right? Can anybody stop this ram?
No.
No. Whatever the ram wants to do, the ram just does and does. And he's got two big horns, and one's higher than the other horn. It doesn't really look like it very much in my picture, but you get the idea. So there's this ram. Now, what is your guess? We're going to do lots of guesses about meaning. What do you guess this ram is? Satan? Okay, that's a good guess. What else? No other ideas? That's fine.
What about I don't know. Maybe Jesus?
Jesus? Could be. Yeah, we're guessing. When you're guessing, it's all okay. All right. What do horns often mean?
Power.
Power, okay. And if
the dragon had 10 horns.
it had 10 horns, and so that means he had 10 times the power, but also what did those individual horns mean?
King?
Represented kings. That's right. Okay, so the horn is definitely power, right? It could be kings and individual powers within it. All right? And what direction is he going? He's going
North, south, east. I don't think he said east.
right. He's going north, south, and west. He's not going east. So you know what that means? He's coming from the east. That's kind of a cool trick, right? Can you see those arrows pretty well? Let me see if I can color.
Yep.
Yep.
I'll color them in a little bit. Whiteboards are hard to color in, but I got some new markers, so this is going to help. Okay. So that's what he's doing. Okay. He's magnifying himself. No one can stop him. Okay? Now we'll go back and we'll read some more. And as I was considering, behold, a he-goat. So there was a ram and now there's a he-goat. Came from the west, and the face of the whole earth was touched, came out, Alice, stop kicking. From the west over the face of the whole earth, and he touched not the ground. And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes.
Oh.
Okay, so we're going to draw a goat with a notable horn, and he's not touching the ground. And we got to figure out what that means.
I think it means it's
Conspicuous horn.
maybe draw the ground a little bit beneath his legs.
And show a shadow.
Probably means it's really big.
On
Show
the
shadow.
floor.
That's a really good idea. I have to draw it smaller. I drew my ram too big.
All right, so here's the idea I think about this goat that's not touching the ground. It could be because it's like he's flying.
I'm gonna draw wings on him, like he's flying.
All
He
right.
came out of the river, right?
Huh?
He came out of the river, right?
No, he came out from the west.
Oh, right.
All right. And so I kind of have, all right, now maybe I should draw like a shadow, like he's over the ground here. I can draw grass. I've got his feet kind of bent like he's over the ground. But if a goat is moving, not touching the ground, how does that even happen? It could be because he's flying, or it could be, and this is kind of the way I like to think about it. Have you ever watched a cartoon where they've got like their feet are moving so fast it looks like just wheels?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that? That's kind of the image I have.
Yeah.
He's like, "Chow!" Sometimes we say, man, that guy was flying. Does it mean that he was literally flapping his chicken wings and going through the air?
No.
No.
No, we say, man, that guy was flying. Chow! And so I think that that's the idea. He's coming out of the west with a notable horn, and he's going mega fast. Okay? Get some more light here.
I drew the running fast,
Yeah?
the running fast lines. Going
Cool.
fast lines.
Nice. Yeah. So I think he's going fast. All right. And he came to the ram that had the two horns. Uh-oh. Which I saw standing before the river, and ran upon him in the fury of his power. And I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him. He was stinking angry against him, and smote the ram, and brake his two horns. And there was no power in the ram to stand before him. But he cast him down to the ground and trampled upon him, and there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand.
Mr. Dan.
Yeah, so the ram, which couldn't be stopped, is now stopped by this he-goat. Wow. Yeah, was that you, Charlotte?
Yeah. I think the ram is like Satan, and the goat is like Jesus stopping.
Okay. That could be. That I can see that. Let's see how it goes. All right, so first, let's see. I'm going to draw the ram on the ground, dead, with the X's in size. You got to draw the horn things, right? So there he's dead. That's right, Jack. I forgot. So you got to draw that the horns were broken off if you want. Right? And then there's this he-goat who's like, yeah, buddy, I'm mega cool. And he's all like, yeah, I'm the winner. I'm the winner. And he's got his notable horn. I kind of made it look maybe like twisty, like a unicorn horn. And you can draw him stomping on the ram. I don't know why. That's a really ugly goat. But you get, oh, and there's I need to draw stomp lines. Stomp, 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 stomp. And
Is he still floating?
say what?
Is he still floating?
No, it doesn't say that. He's trampling him on the ground. So I think the point isn't that he can fly. I think it's that he was going so fast. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And the he-goat magnified himself. Well, isn't that what the first one did? The ram magnified himself, and now the he-goat is magnifying himself as well. So they're very similar, aren't they? First one does it, and then the next one does it. Magnified himself exceedingly. And when he was strong, here, I'll draw the goat. Come on, pencil, stop breaking. Magnifying himself. And he's got his happy eyes with his notable horn. I'm going to give him a crown kind of thing. Like, I have magnified myself exceedingly. I'm one happy goat guy.
Okay.
All right, so there he is. And when he was strong, the great horn was broken. All right, so now I got to draw a break. Here's the ram's horn broke, and now the he-goat's horn is going to break. And instead of it, there came up 4 notable horns toward the 4 winds of heaven. So there was one horn, but that horn broke, right? What happened after it broke?
4 more came.
4 more horns came up. So you can draw like, here is the broken horn crunchies, right? And then you draw 1, 2, 3, 4. So if the 1 horn was strong, what do you think the 4 are gonna be like? Right? And it says toward the 4 winds of heaven. So it's almost like they went north, west, east, and south. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And out of one of them came forth a little horn. Oh my goodness. Horns coming out of horns.
I remember the little horn breaking off of horns. It's like a reindeer. Or a ring goat.
All right, and so a little horn that waxed exceedingly great. All right, so there's this little horn, and that little horn is saying, I am great. Have we heard of horns doing that before? Saying
Yeah.
I'm great.
Yeah, I remember that.
Towards the south and towards the east and towards the glorious land. Wait a minute. What's the glorious land?
Heaven?
Heaven, that's a good guess. But this dream has been talking about north, south, east, and west. So don't think heaven. What's the closest thing that would be the heaven on earth? Jerusalem. Israel, the glorious land, the promised land. Does that make sense? Good job, good job. So this horn is going to different places and towards the glorious land, towards Israel. And it waxed, or which is an old-fashioned word for it, grew. So this little horn now, we're just talking about this little horn. All right, so here's this little horn. Okay. It grew great, even to the host of heaven. So what was this horn trying to grow up to? All the way up to heaven. Okay.
So damn.
Yeah.
That's kind of like when those men thought they could build a building up to heaven.
Yeah. So, based on the Tower of Babel story, do you think this is a good horn or a bad horn?
Bad.
A bad horn.
You remember how the fourth beast had a little horn that became powerful?
The fourth beast had a little horn that became powerful. There's a similarity here. Good connections, guys. This is excellent. I love doing this class with you guys. All right, so this horn is going up towards heaven, or trying to, and some of the host, that'd be the host of heaven, and of the stars, it cast down to the ground and trampled on them. So it is attacking the things of heaven, and it, I guess I got to draw feet on this horn. How can a horn stomp unless it's got feet? All right, so here's a foot. I'm going to make it a bare foot because that makes it even funnier. So there it is. There's his foot, and it's just, I'm an angry horn, and I'm stomping on stars in the hosts of heaven. So this is this a good horn or is this a bad horn?
Bad.
It's bad. This is terrible. He is stomping on the heavenly host. He is stomping on the stars. He is trying to make himself big and powerful.
Hey, Mr. Dan,
Yeah.
put angry eyes on him.
Angry eyes? Okay, I'll do that.
I put angry eyebrows, but I didn't put angry eyes.
Me too.
There we go. I'll give him some teeth. He's one angry little dude.
I gave it elephant feet to stomp.
Oh yeah, big old elephant stompers. Okay. Yea, it magnified itself even to the prince of the host. Who do you think is the prince?
Jesus.
Yeah, of the host is probably someone like Jesus or God. This is a very bad horn. And it took away from him the continual burnt offering, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down. Okay. if we're thinking about the glorious land, where were they doing the burnt offering? And where was the sanctuary?
And
That was in the temple of God, right? They do burnt offerings to God.
yeah.
And so this horn is ruining sacrifices and things about God's temple. And the
That's like-
host, say what?
I said that's like Belshazzar.
That's like what?
Belshazzar.
Yeah, similar to what Belshazzar was doing. That's true. And the host was given over it together with the continual burnt offering through the transgression. There's this time of transgression. And it cast down to the ground, and it did its pleasure and prospered. And so did this horn get to do what it wanted to do and be successful? Yeah, it prospered. So we'll stop for a second. Here is a ram that's going west and north and south, and it's conquering and it's doing whatever it wants. And then here comes this he-goat, and it stops the ram and it tramples the ram. But is it a good he-goat, do you think?
Nope.
No, I don't think so. What about its horns? It had the one horn, and it broke off. So then it had 4 horns, and one of them had a really bad angry horn. And do we like this angry horn?
Mm-mm.
Now, this angry horn is attacking God's things. It's not wise. It's not wise. All right, we're almost to the stopping point for this lesson. Then I heard a holy one speaking, so this is probably an angel, and another holy one said unto that certain one which spoke, how long shall be the vision concerning the continual burnt offering and the transgression that makes desolate, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden underfoot? That's a long question. Basically, there is this temple of God idea. Okay, I'll draw a little wall so it's pretty, and then there'd be this temple with the altar, right? And on the altar is the continual burnt offerings and things like that to God, right? So here is this dream about this place of God. And what's happening to it? The goat is trampling it underfoot. Uh-oh, I'm running out of lead.
Sorry, guess my theory was wrong.
Right, yeah, your theory. And that's okay. It's okay to have theories that aren't right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That just means you're working on it and you're thinking about it. So that's okay. All right. All right, hold on. Slowly I'm getting pencil here. All right, thanks, Thomas. But then I found out how to get this one working. Oh, nope, that's not working. Here we go. Let me draw this silly goat foot. And then there's another goat foot doing more stomping. I'll do it like that. And so here is this terrible attacking of God's sacrifices. And the question is, how long is this going to take place? How long is this goat going to be a bad guy to God's things?
Not a bully.
Not much longer. That's the usual answer, right? And
A
he
bully.
sent me unto 2,300 evenings and mornings. So 2,300 days.
He's a bully.
And then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. After that time, they will clean out the temple. What do you think about 2,300 days, Jack?
Well, in 1,000, that's 2.5.
Yeah, well, it's just about 2.5, right? 2,500 would be 2.5, so it's close to 2.5.
It also sounds like that thing in Revelation.
Right, it does sound like that. So I was looking into it. I was trying to do the math. 3.5 years, that times time and half a time is more like 1,280. That was the number that we had in the book of Revelation. So this 2,300, it doesn't work out perfectly. I don't know what to think about it. But when you say 2,300 days, does that sound long or short?
Oh.
It sounds long. It sounds long. And I think that that's really the idea. It's going to kind of be a long time. It's going to be a long time. All right. So then this is my stopping point that I have. We're going to stop here at verse 15. You were right, Jack. That was your guess. Okay, so next time we will look at the answer to this vision. But before we do that, I want to, we'll kind of wrap up what we were talking about and try to get an understanding. Okay, let me see. I should draw the angry horn with angry feet. And he's doing his angry stompins. Oh, I don't know where my orange is. Oh, well. We'll do purple. It's okay. Do this. So there he is, and he's stomping. And he's making a ruckus, right? Okay. Oh, we got to do angry eyes, right? Let me get angry eyes. Let me get angry eyes. There. All right, so there's the angry horn, and he's doing stuff. Okay. Here we have this ram, and it was attacking, and it was doing its thing. Bah! But guess what? Can anyone be strong forever?
Nope.
No.
No one except for God.
No one except for God. Good answer. Good answer.
Thanks.
So I said nope, so I was wrong. All right. Then comes this he-goat. He's like, pow, pow, poof, poof, poof. And he beats up that ram. And he beats up that ram hard. And then the horn. The horn breaks first. That sounds like kind of a bad thing for the he-goat. But then the horns turn into 4 horns, and one of them grows another horn, and it's a really angry bad horn. And that big angry bad horn, that's kind of where we end the dream and the vision, right? With that angry bad horn right there in the middle. And what is that angry bad horn attacking?
God's people.
God's people and
things.
God's things. So, do you see how this is a good vision for Daniel the Hebrew to share with the other Jewish people? This might be world stuff, but the horn is attacking God and God's things. So this is a message for God's people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, that's the first part of chapter 8. Next time we have class, we'll look at the interpretation of it. Now, again, I highly endorse cheating in my classroom. I want you all to be cheaters, as long as cheating means you're reading the Bible, right?
Right.
You are allowed to read the rest of chapter 8. If you cheat and read the rest of the chapter by yourself, you'll get extra cheater credit points.
And that's good, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what you can do with them, but if you read through and figure it out, then you'll know, and that's kind of cool. But I will say that you don't for the kids who haven't read it, don't announce it in the first thing of class, right? Let the class go on. Okay, now before we show any pictures or anything like that, do you guys have any questions about this vision?
No, I don't think so.
No? All right. Well, thanks a bunch, guys. I'm going to stop
Thank
the
you.
recording.
Bye.
We'll talk to
Thank
you guys
you.
soon. See ya.
Thank you.